you all that you need. I wanna see the sea, but amazingly, I'm too scared of water, too scared of water. And I hope that one day you'll find me again. We can run to the top of the mountains. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? Just give me a hand and we'll run far from here, away from curfews you have and all those things you hold dear. It would be stupid to throw it away, so let's get out on this boat and stop your crying for days. I wanna see the sea, but amazingly, I'm too scared of water, too scared of water. And I hope that one day you'll find me again. We can run to the top of the mountains. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? Try hard. No, we don't need to be clear. We need our best thoughts held dear. We need escape from here. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? to remind me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Belong Arena Clash here for Tuesday, and that means it's time to kick off the playoffs for the Rocket League Arena Clash action. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by the Little Bacon, as he always does. We've been through 5 weeks of league play or group play, or whatever the hell you want to call it, play, and now we're into the top 8, Bacon. Yes, the top 8 teams are now battling for their spot at the line finals. The LAN finals. Wow. We're off to a great start today, aren't we?
Yeah, it's not going to be at the London Lionhearts finals. It's actually going to be over at the Bristol Smugglers Arena on the 6th, I do believe, of December. So pretty soon, actually. We've got this week, of course, next week, a week off break, and then we hit the finals. So it's all hotting up here, and especially, like you said, the last 8 teams remain. So let's bring up that bracket so we can see how it all stacks up. Of course, those 8 teams for you is the Enigmas going up against the Vikings today. And then we've got Centurions going up against Harriers, first on stream, followed by the Nighthawks going up against the Kestrels. They'll be second on stream. And then, of course, last but not least, Steelers going up against Claymores here, Jay.
A couple of familiar names in this one.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, the Harriers, the Enigmas, and the Claymores. I think those guys were our top 3 overall in this whole thing. Maybe there was a little bit of breathing room for the Harriers overall.
I would argue Vikings as well. And Vikings didn't have the greatest league player, and they've had to pay the price by going up against the Enigmas, first of all.
Yeah. It's not going to be a great graph for them. Obviously, if they come up with that upset victory, then that's going to be massive because, of course, the Enigmas are the reigning champions from this past gone season of the Arena Clash. We won't get to see them or the Claymores, the top 2 from last season, on stream today. As you mentioned, we've got the Harriers that will be up on screen up first, and they're going to be taking on the Centurions. I'll take a look at those lineups right now so we can just kind of brief you on where we sort of stand on these ones. These are going to look very familiar. Obviously, the Harriers, mostly the main sort of like forces returning from last season, but on the Colchester Centurions, a couple of names we weren't 100% familiar with, and this season I think you mentioned that they've impressed you.
Yeah, for me, definitely of the Centurions, Sullivan has been a real standout player, joined alongside by Rewind and Tyzors. Of course, over on the Kingston Harriers side, we've got Tagmatter, Belfie Meister, and Jake That. We expect that to be the trio today. Of course, I'm not going to use their sub Canix Devil, but Belfie for me has been the real standout player so far this season.
I will have to say,
phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Belfie is just sort of really impressed, I think, overall. Like, I'm very impressed with what they've been able to achieve on the Kingston Harriers overall. You know, like, I feel like that this is a side that, again, they've just got a lot going for them right now.
Yes.
You know? There's a lot of talent in that side, in my opinion. And that was always going to be the case from last season on towards this season. I feel like they've all just sort of like clumped together and really sort of like found their form. And they've sort of retained their form over into this season. So I think they're probably going to be the favourites in this series overall here, Bacon, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They should be everyone's favourites going on in. Of course, on the opposite side, where you do have those unheard of names, it could be a massive surprise. And if this team of the Harriers don't get it together pretty quickly, it could be a bit of a tumbling effect. But we do have to remember they're all best of 5s here on Out, Jay. So you've got an extra game as a safety net for a lot of these teams, and they're going to be using them, especially that Harriers side, which we know have that slower start because they try and learn what their opponent is about.
So, obviously, we do believe in the Harriers side. We do believe that they're going to be the favourites overall. I want to talk about win conditions for the Centurions, though, because, as you said, they're a team that's impressed you over the course of time and over the course of the last 5 weeks that we've gotten to watch them. They have shown a little bit of potential that might go a little bit further than what has already gone a little bit further than what we actually expected. So, I want to ask for you, what do you think they need to do to try and at least take a close series against the Harriers?
Yeah, it's all, for the Centurions, it's all going to be about that pressure, the aggression, because naturally, for the Harriers, they're stronger up in attack, like most teams, of course. That backline defense still has a couple of crumbles to it, where essentially is the hardest part to get that last line defense going. So just keep pressuring them, use that aggression, and that's where the Centurions should find a lot of success. We've seen a lot of quick plays as well come out from them, where they do just get that ball with a great infield pass or utilize the backboard to pick up on those plays. But right now, it's all got to be coming down to quick, fast pace, and then throwing a couple of demos as well, I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that you probably summed it up pretty well right there. Again, the issue is really going to be about trying to get Harriers suppressed in their own half more than anything else, because you've seen plenty of times over the course of the season where this team has actually managed to find a couple of great breakaways, and I think those are kind of like the foundation building blocks to allow the sort of like firepower to work for players like that. So we'll get to see how much they'll be able to do here as we're almost ready to get into our matchup. What's your quick prediction before we jump into game one?
Quick prediction here would have to be 4-2 to the Harriers. I reckon we're going to see a couple of games come out from the Centurions. Centurions, but the Harriers, oh, we know the power they hold.
Yep, there it is. Nice opening goal in 4 seconds, and the power that the Harriers do have is going to come to great fruition here of the bouncing off the crossbar there from Jake That, and actually using his opponents of the rebound. Regardless, a good shot that would have gone in regardless for the Harriers. So the first being scored again. Just 4 seconds into this game, and the kickoff's going extremely well for them. They can continue to work off this, then Rewind and Co are going to have a seriously hard time. And of course, you may notice at the top of your screens that the series differentials have changed. It's no longer best of 5, it's best of 7 rules for the remainder of the tournament here. It's all out to those playoffs where we will see the best teams clash in as most amount of games as humanly possible. Off towards that backboard. Nice open up here for Sullivan, but cleared away by Tagmata, and Belfi is there to clear it out towards the white half.
The creativity there from Belfi to reverse up and still get that hit to progress the ball downfield. It allows time for his teammates to breathe, get some boost, and then move downfield. It's what results in this play right now, where the Harriers are wanting to smother their opponents, but it's a decent attempt of a breakaway coming out from the Centurions right now.
Jake, pinching that off his opponent. That one goes all the way towards the Centurions half. Rewind and Taylor's going to have to get up high off the backboard. Challenger towards one player. Jake That have got a lot of room to breathe, though. Rewind takes it back over to Sullivan as Tagmata takes that side swipe off that sideboard, looking for a second touch. And Rewind and Taylor's going to leave it completely open for exploitation. They will get it past 2 of them eventually, but Belfi able to return all the same off that backboard. Sullivan will keep it there. No more boost having to come forward, so Tagmata gets it off the backboard for a secondary time. Rewind trying to wrap back over and challenge on towards Jake That. Put that in the midfield and just leave it out for control of the Harriers.
Bit of an awkward pinch there coming out from Belfi. Wasn't able to lay up a teammate at all. Does keep pressure going. Stops the Centurions from building efficiently from it. But these two teams really going toe-to-toe, head-to-head with each other. A couple of mistakes coming out like that there. It's just hard reads. No one's going to be able to clean up that in the center from the Harriers, but that's because they're trying to get into defense early. Good save from Taggers.
A couple of good block-offs there from the Harriers side. And they're going to disallow the opportunity for the Centurions to get that pressure rolling. You mentioned that that's really going to have to be the thing that gives them the match out here. The shoots come forward.
Nice
Double commit there, and it's way too low from both players. Should have covered off both the high and low shots, and unfortunately neither one was in position for it. Tagmata with a great shot, and it's a 2-0 for the Harriers.
Yeah, just a little whiff there coming out from the Centurions, not really knowing what to do, just sheer panic. Harriers now 2-0 up. Looking good for the rest of the game here, Jay, but it's not even at halfway mark yet. Centurions have potential to close this out.
Balthy trying to get into the way of Rewind on this save, but unfortunately he's going to be too far forward for this one. A couple of good challenges from Jake in that corner. Keeps it out to the midfield line, pushed up by Sullivan. Rewind goes up as Sullivan gets demoed out. Belfi should get off the backboard and defend it pretty nice and easy. Other midfield where Jake's got control over the Tagmata. Back over to the centre line. Belfi will come forward and try to take a strike, but no one is going to get another goal here for the Harriers side. They're going to continue with this pressure. Oh, look at Jake with the pop-up. This is perfect for Tagmata, but he's going to be way too far back in this one. So the Kingston Harriers will, again, keep the pressure running against the Centurions and just try and see if they can deny as much as possible. A couple of breakaways coming through, but every time they get to the backboard, the Harriers are just ready for the Centurions' offensive.
That's because the Harriers are communicating to each other just that little bit better. Those double commits that do come out from the Centurions. But the Harriers always stack up. They've got a natural flow to their game. They know just through chemistry where they want the ball to be for each other.
Well, Belfi and Jake into that corner. Good challenge from one of the Centurions side. Tagmata's going to get beaten. Ooh. Okay, Taylor's going to get gifted one to a certain extent, all down to a slightly lacking midfield challenge. And that's a first score by the Centurions.
Bold move from Taylor's there to jump in for it, but a great shot nonetheless. 1 minute 40 to get one goal and close out the game. Who knows, maybe even get a second goal and bring us the upset win already.
Well, still a little bit of room to make up here. The Harriers are breaking away into the white half of the back of the kickoff. Taylor's up alongside Rewind into the mid-centre. It's Jake that can take it away and now go up high for a secondary challenge, but Sullivan can quickly put it back over into Rewind's control. Beaten out by Belfi. Taylor's going to wrap back over. The Sullivan passes upfield. Rewind will try and find a way in, but the demos will be pretty easily found again by the Harriers side. Tag Matter beaten by Sullivan. To go off that sideboard. Second follow-up from a teammate. That might bounce to the centre line. Taylor's going to leave it up for the third man commitment, but it's a little bit too late. Tag Matter can get over to the pass out of the midfield. 60 seconds left, and the Harriers still hold a single goal lead. Bounce down in towards that box. Might allow a secondary chance, but the second commit, the third player is way too far back. Tag Matter will just hold the defense, and again, Taylor's going to look for a shot to the backboard. It will get cleared.
Now, you've got both these two teams calming down just that little bit. Naturally, the Harriers are going to try and hold on for that goal lead, but what the block. Like you said, that challenge there, 50-50, remarkable from Jake. That Sullivan leaving the door just open enough for him.
That was lovely. Perfectly placed as well. The angle was pretty much spot on there.
Sullivan shouldn't have turned around to try and get that down to the middle. He should have been dragging it off to the wall. That comes down to his mistake there.
Taylor's up and over again, going to try and get some aggression going here for the Centurions. Good shot. Oh, challenge again going towards the crossbar, but Rewind unable to follow up. Taylor's back in double commit there, but it's going to go too far wide as Rewind keeps it going off the backboard. Sullivan will try and find a way to work in off that ceiling. Up to Taylor's for the redirect, but he misses. Still for Rewind to the backboard. Third player to come forward. Sullivan dunks it, and it goes in. A second score for the Centurions, 12 to make up 1.
Yeah, still though, there were opportunities throughout that attack for the Centurions to score. They just got to communicate that tiny little bit better instead of pulling off those crazy drop shots. There were opportunities there to get a bump on one of the players in the net, make that goal so much easier and buy just that little bit more time, because now it's essentially all down to a kickoff goal for the Centurions to tie this up and send us into overtime. Good clear coming out. You can see the potential for it, Jay. That's a bad pass, risky move, but keeping the ball underneath the Harriers' control does allow the chance for this. Harriers just hold it together for the game.
Close, however, from the Centurions. They felt like they had a moment, an opportunity, a bit of respite, you know. If that back pass to the backboard actually went wrong, I feel like that probably could have actually been a major disaster, essentially, for the Harriers. But other than that, it was a relatively well-played matchup. Like you said, though, when they got the pressure going, they had a little bit more to work with. I feel like, however, a lot of the goals coming in from the Centurions was a bit more based in sort of like counter-attack rather than pressure, you know? That
is it. So for me, Centurions they were just waiting for an opportunity instead of creating those opportunities. That's what I want to see from the Centurions anyway. And that just all comes down to them having a bit more confidence. They were definitely picking that up throughout the game. So here going into game 2, we'll see how they finish it off.
Over from Tag Matter, second bounce towards Belthy, stops that ball's momentum. Jake that left to try and take control of the early part of the kickoff, trying to back pass, and again those punishes are trying to get fouled from the Centurions. If Kings and Harriers try and play against losing ground to gain more later down the road, they may end up falling apart, because some of these challenges still look pretty good for the Centurions. Off that backboard, Rewind will be able to pinch it into that corner, and Tag Matter going in for the shot. It will be Sullivan able to take it away, now following through with a single point of boost, still going for the shot. No one's rotated, he still gets it off the post. Oh no, Centurions with the best opportunity to get a lead. Now Jake that goes back off the backboard. It will get cleared away by the Centurions, but the Harriers getting within inches of conceding that first. They may still do so, but that shot is way too wide.
Big questions for the Harriers then. Why was there not a man back? The opportunity so close there for Centurions. Sullivan will be kicking himself, but pick that up, because you can see that the Harriers are a very, I wouldn't say formidable opponent, but they can be taken down.
Belthy up top, loads of boost, big miss.
Great
Two
play.
players out of position, and that is a first score by the Harriers. As you mentioned, a very good play there from the blue side of the court. And again, they strike first within 1 minute and 15.
Yeah, two players that weren't quite sure where that ball was going or how it would play out. Just two sitting ducks. And all they can do is quack.
All right. Taggers up for the kickoff against Taylor's. Here to Sullivan. Okay, that
Good
was
response.
okay. Break this one down for me, mate. That was a bit of a weird one.
So yeah, straight away, just the ball going up after the kickoff. Sullivan, with the further back chase up, is able to react upon it and follow up. Pretty simple, clean stuff. And that just comes down to the second man in that cheat up, not being in the right place. A bit unlucky because it just comes down to strategy and strategy. This time around, went in Centurion's favour, close to getting a second as well there.
The post shot coming through the Harriers. struggling now against that pressure, and no, now's the first time we've seen them struggle against the pressure. You know, we talked about the Colchester Centurions. If they can keep that one up against the backboard, then this will start to look a bit more awkward, and a couple of good clears just plagued by inaccuracy. If they got these shots on target, then it could be a great second goal and a lead to be taken, but Centurions, again, just dribbling up towards that net, struggling to get it in the back of said net. It's Rewind now with the dribble around against Jake. Does manage to beat him out and outfake him. Again, those challenges still looking pretty good. Trying to go for the flick back against him. Taylors goes up, and Jake will have to try and deny this one. We'll keep it inside that corner for the moment when Belfie finds the overall clear. But they're out of boost. They can't go for much of a counter-attack here.
No, they can't. And Centurions right now need to wait. It's going to be a harsh one. Rewind up high really early there. Does get a great pass down, and that's a good follow-up. Creating opportunities here from Taylors, but Taylor's not able to really finish off the job, get into the right place for a teammate.
Back into the defense here for the Centurions. Couple of double commits. Oh, this is another breakaway chance, and you can see that backline being left open pretty critically here for the Harriers. Drake and Tagmata will break away. But again, it's Taylor's off that sideboard going into the midfield. Bounce out, Jake. That's got to pass up towards Tagmata. Good shot towards the upper crossbar. Missed out by Belfie. And Jake going to try right back around again, try and beat out another, but just bumped out of the way. They're not allowed a little bit of control. Rewind up towards Sullivan. This is a great shot and a fantastic passing play. Centurions, after a long little battle, they do take the lead.
Brilliant connection there. The pop perfectly up, and Sullivan beating Taggers is able to put it just to the left of him and gain the lead. Centurions really taking it to Harriers here in game 2, and it is from that aggression.
A second on the board again, 2 minutes on the clock. Belfie getting a challenge up, Tagmata. And Jake going to try and control that midfield. Rewind, challenge again over to the corner. Beating out one, challenge again from Taylors. Will go up off that backboard. Second touch might be allowed. No, he's not going to get the chance, and his backup in Sullivan's going to get demoed out by Tagmata. Jake and Belfie desperately trying to break away into the white half. A couple of big misses coming out, but again, the aggression just not really working out for them. The defensive holding and Harriers non-committed. That ball was pretty nicely centered up in front of that net, but no one able to take the shot here, Bacon.
No, and it's all coming down to boost not really being in their favor, because they're wanting to commit deeply downfield, but notice that two players going for that same corner boost. It's a little bit of a lack of cohesion. Unfortunate mistake there coming out. Shot put on, but that's easy for Taggers with nothing to put off to the side. Belfie not able to reach it, but you can see the follow-up's not going to come through here from Centurions. We do have a lot of pressure, but it's not good enough just to be out the Harriers yet.
Stealing boost away from that backline. Rewind went from one corner to the other to make sure the Harriers had no resources to work with, and they're still getting pressured as a result of that. Long-term ramifications, 45 seconds left on the clock, and the Harriers, they're in desperate need of a goal here, else Centurions will win out game number 2. Oh, Belfie just holding out the control that Tagmata couldn't. Double commit there from him and Jake. Now they go up towards that midfield once again. Jake's got control. Rewind challenge. That's a good shot, but Taylors is still back in time. He is going to get bumped out of the way. But fortunately for the moment, it looks like that's the only defensive he's going to need. It looked a bit high, the marker. And now Jake going to get beaten. Tagmata over to Jake once again. Great opportunity is going to get taken away by a Rewind. Pass back in over at the midfield. Jake going to wrap back over. And there's only 10 seconds. Ball up for Sullivan to the backboard. In towards Taylor's position. Good shot close off the crossbar. Sullivan can't follow it up. A chance still available for the Harriers. They've got a breakaway now. But again, it's not going to happen. Taylor's just going to keep that one on the floor, and there will be Centurions disobeying Rule 1, but getting a Game 1 on their board.
Yeah, clever play there by Taylor's right end. I'm just going to say as well, point that out, because we've seen too many teams want to keep the ball active. I know following Rule 1 of Rocket League, keep the ball up in the air until that 0-second mark, but realistically, in a competition setting like this, as long as you keep it on the ground and away from your opponents, when it hits 0, it hits straight away, and it's the safest way to play. So Taylor's definitely knowing that, wants to take it back to his own net, into the corner, and try and smother that.
Absolutely. Like, it felt like there was such a smothering towards the end of it as well for the Centurions. Like, you know, there was a point, you know, again, as mentioned, there was Rewind went from corner to corner to take away all the boost possible, essentially. Yep. And it's not just those two big pads, but it's also all the small pads in front and everything, you know, that you lose out on if you're a defending player. So the fact that they had quite literally nothing to work with left a large open hole in the back line. I felt like the rotations also weren't there from the Harriers, so something to discuss and something to think about going into this next game. Of course, it is going to be 1-1 on the series board for the time being between the Harriers and the Centurions as we go to Champions Field. It's Rewind and Sullivan over from the corner. Bounce up, Sullivan missing out. Taylor's going to be able to get it underneath 1-2 players committing to that left-hand side, though. That does leave that right hand particularly open, I think, for the Harriers point, but Tagmata in. Taylor's going to leave it for Rewind. Good shot, blocked off by Belthymeister, so no problems again for the Harriers for the moment. But again, the Colchester Centurions keeping up that pace and keeping up that pressure because they know where the mistakes are. They know where the holes are in the Harriers line, and they're going to try and exploit. But Jake is again going to be able to get a save.
Strong opening once again coming from the Centurions. They're looking to keep playing that same game as before. A lot of pressure coming out, a lot of boost starvation. Double commit there really wasn't needed, and that's a breakdown in the team communication, and it allows the Harriers to push a little bit far forward. But unfortunately, Rewind is just going to send it home.
Tagmata, what happened there? Out of boost, perhaps? I don't know if he was caught in rotation or what was happening over there. Yeah, it looks like he was trying to get himself out of position, and yeah, he wasn't able to respond to that in time. Oh dear, Harriers crumbling to pieces before our very eyes are one of our top 4 teams, excuse me. Yeah, 3 players in the 4th position, of course. No, one of our top 4 teams, and right now, unfortunately, they are just not able to get the job done. They are trying their best to try and work against each other and try and utilize the opportunities available. One demo actually will open up the line, and Belfie will enable Jake to get the first on the ball for the Harriers. This might be the start of something new.
Yeah, and this is the change-up they needed. Not only the demo, but the bump from Sullivan as well there from Belfie, and Jake with no boost is able to just quite easily tap it on in. They've got to come up with some more out-of-the-box strategies like that because the Harriers, they've been struggling to combat the Centurions here.
Yeah, that play into the box, obviously off the back of that kickoff. Kingston Harriers trying to find something to work with. Good challenges again going in towards that midfield. Rewind up and over. Tagmata will keep that ball up high. Colchester trying to find something to work with up here. Sullivan will take the ball up high once again. Tagmata also dropping down over towards the corner. It's Taylor's bounce out again. Trying to get inside that box, and Centurion's going to try and remount that pressure. Couple of great plays coming out from Sullivan to the backboards. Follow up here from Rewind. Could come through, but in the end, it's the Harriers that reach the position first and challenge again. Taylor's second 50-50 into the blue side box. Tagmata over and out. Rewind with a big miss. This could be Tagger's break. Off the backboard, Sullivan just able to deny. Keep it inside that corner. Jake continues the pressure up towards Belfie for the chance, but both players miss out, and Centurions are allowed to clear.
Yeah, notice that clear. Sending it quite deep downfield. Means it does buy him a little bit of time, but they weren't able to follow up on it. Unlucky from Jake. Good side clearance, but Belfie's covering great angles right now, and it's so hard for the Centurions to break out. Notice that they're trying to keep it to the corners and make sure that a follow-up shot is not going to be able to played on. Decent clearance coming out there, but Taggart just reads it so well.
Oh, the bump!
Up, and that bump puts on a little bit more power, making it impossible to save.
Exactly. Like, watch this touch again. 2-1 on the board for the Harriers. 2.5 minutes on the clock for the Centurions now to try and bring it back. Role reversal. Very different to way things that went down in game 2, which might indicate a little bit more of a bit more of an opportunity, you know, available for just a bit of a back and forth, I believe, here, Bacon.
Well, it's all coming down to the Harriers seeing what the Centurions are doing well and basically copying their game. They got to be careful with these double commits, but they're just looking to create pressure themselves. They are worried about the boost situation because the Centurions still have that front, but as soon as the Harriers can lock their opponents into their own half, they will just keep pulling away.
Sullivan challenging the midfield presence again. Centurions, will they pull away? They've got to try and find a way back into that blue half, and they need to find a way to get the goal back to even. For now, though, Harriers with a bit more control in the last couple of moments. Still, the passing from Rewind to Taylor's over to Sullivan. It will be pushed out by Tagmata, and Taylor's going to keep this one going up. Rewind here for the dunk down. Chance, and Belfie's way out of position, charging in from the right-hand side of the field, and the rotation's just not quite there. Bit of a commitment there from the Harriers, and they will pay the price.
Yeah, both Belfie and Taylor's getting a little bit caught up, causing the opportunity in the center. And notice Jake not really quite sure where to rotate to, because the other two are really mucked up that rotation. So he was confused, didn't want to step in someone's way. That's where, you know, you get team collisions go on. And it's costing them the price. 2-2 right now for me with the Kingston Harriers. They need a lad to start shouting orders.
Yeah, they're going to need something big at this stage. Flick up from Sullivan, over to Rewind, bounce off the crossbar, in towards Taylor's going to be too high and too wide. Sullivan, no boost to recover it at the midfield either. That 100 pad has not spawned in just yet. It has now. But at this point, he's broken back off and rotated to the defensive. Belthy over to the Whites half again, to the backboard. Jake's going to try and find something to work with instead of leaving it for Tag Matter, who bounces out to the corner field. The rotation's got to come in from Belthy because that's 2 players, almost 3 committing up at that stage. Last man left. Sullivan backed up again. Going to be contested by Tag Matter alongside Belthy breaking away. Taylor's no boost. Secondary challenge moving up against Belthy. Great control from the Harriers, and they are able to pull a lead back.
Right, a little case here. I'm going to point out in these situations, instead going for the ball, you need to just try and cut out behind it. It's so unfortunate, but the 2 players getting caught up there in the midfield. Harriers do take the lead, but 33 seconds left to go. We know with these 2 teams, anything can happen, but the Harriers do have the stronger kickoffs. That is above net, the follow-through touch, but it is wide.
Just pushed out by the Centurions defensives. They hold on to the 1-goal lead against the Harriers forces. They are going to need one back though. As Belthy pips up for Tag Matter. Bit of a miss there. Jake can still follow through and he gets it in as well. Taggers is not needed as the Harriers score a 4th for the blue side.
Yeah, the mistakes there, creating opportunities. Jake with great coverage on Taggers comes through and picks up on a shot which the Centurions were not expecting at all. So reaction's not there, and for me, Jay, 12 seconds left. This game is done and dusted, but still, this is a series that looks like it could even go the whole way to 7.
Well, let's have a think about this, right? We only had a couple of... I think this is the first 2-goal scoreline of the series so far. So... 1 goal, 1 goal, yes. 2 goals. We're looking at 2 goals, so 2-2. Back, you know, it could very easily spiral out of control. But for right now, it's going back and forth pretty well and easy. And I did say there was potential for that to happen with the way that these 2 teams are playing out right now. Like, I feel like this is going to be a fun little matchup. Actually, and I guess we're going to expect that. To
both extent. Series today are the fun games. That's why we picked them, because statistically, the other 2 have the possibilities to be blowouts. Unfortunate there, but it's just how, you know, the stats of all the teams sort of stuck up. But these 2 series we picked up were so close. You gotta think with the fights that happened on during the league play portion going on right now, it wouldn't surprise me if the Centurions do come back into this and, you know, be able to take it, you know, the remaining 3 games, they just go and take that in one sweep now. But of course the Harriers have that veterancy to them. They are the more experienced players on the competitive circuit. I mean, for goodness sake, Taggers wasn't there for the first few weeks purely because he was in Vegas, you know, after winning a competition. That just shows the level that there is here.
And that, again, should be noted, it was a Rocket League competition, obviously. Oh! It doesn't stop them from scoring goals on the Centurions side, though. A demo in, Sullivan bumping Jake out of the way. Taylor's comes in with a fantastic setup as well. And Belthy, wrong place, wrong time in this case for the Harriers. The Centurions, they're able to strike first.
You tell me you went to Vegas for Rocket League competition. I thought it was best dressed cone. Slightly disappointed at that one now.
I mean, we can always just, like, you know, memory hold this and pretend that I never said that. Then we can just pretend that Taggers went there for the best.
They call me the goldfish because I don't remember what was that. Sorry. Anywho, Rocket League is going on. Only 40 seconds on in, and these teams are absolutely getting through so much boost. Look at the numbers that they're consuming because they're just trying to keep up the pace here, Jay.
Yeah, just trying to get aggressive as much as possible here, because that's exactly what the Centurions were using against the Harriers for their match victories. The Harriers are doing well in the pressure game. Into the box, teed away by Taylor's. Tag Matter off to the midfield, beating out the sideboard. Potentially Tag Matter could carry this pretty far forward, but Rewind able to save it and push it out of the way. Belthy and Jake, big misses from both players, and they will be able to clear it out to the corner eventually on Belthy's part. One challenge, second challenge as well, coming through over to the midfield. Of that sideboard that we played up to the centre, Sullivan, bit of a big miss. Tag Jake going to try and go in for the attack. But Taylor's is able to save it, so fortunately not here for the Centurions. Big misses though! No. This is Rewind's chance to strike,
well done,
but Tag Matter just holds the control down.
Earlier on, I said Belfie being able to get the ball downfield was incredible. That right there was not so much from the Harriers. The double whiff created an opening, and Taggers just had to get out of the Band-Aid and patch that up quickly. That was a rough time for the Harriers, but they weather through.
They're going to continue to try and find a way back in. They are still a goal down at this stage. The defense are able to hold. Pass back from Jake. Sullivan's going to punish it. It's going to be too wide, though. And the Centurions, again, these punishing challenges have been looking particularly impressive for the moment, you know. The Harriers, whenever they pass back, whenever they take any sort of big risk, the Centurions are going to try and make it as much of a risk as possible and try and get inserted into that blue side line to avoid any sort of counter-attack or breakaway from the Harriers.
With reads like this come from the Centurions, it gives the inkling that Harriers might be getting a bit too predictable with their plays here, Jay. And that is a worrying factor because naturally, interceptions can really lead to breakaway opportunities. Nice idea coming out there from Sullivan, but not able to connect it. It was a difficult chance. Good back tap, though, to be able to keep this under his control.
Invading the one player that continue to push forward here from the Harriers side. They've still got midfield dominance. Tag Matter there with a decent challenge. Rewind up towards Sullivan, but just a little bit out of position, and Belfie is going to be able to control pretty easily at this stage. Tag Matter up. Belfie off to the corner. Jake is able to receive that, but no boost. He takes a miss alongside Belfie. Can allow a couple of opportunities. Rewind now with his own control, flicking past up towards the next player, but it's Tag Matter again with the save. Clear follow-up again from Taylor's will come in from the white side back line. Jake passes down inside that box. That was actually a shot officially registered, but Belfie with the demos, and now Rewind 50 points of boost. Unfortunately, can't control the ball much further than the box. Tag Matter can take control. Bounce up from Taylor. It's not going to be received by a third player from the Centurions. Rewind will get the demos in, but again, this is the dangerous and deadly sort of pressure that we've seen out from these boys. It works up the plays like this that allows Centurions to take a 2-goal lead.
Yep, and a lot of this came down to awkward boost timing for the Harriers. Lads were trying to push out to pads that they shouldn't be going for, and it just meant that the rotations broke down in the end. Don't get me wrong, it all came down to great pressure coming from Centurions, but it was the long con for about 30 seconds.
Corner board pass, Tag Matter up into the box. Chance available for a Rewind, but he can't get the challenge in. However, Sullivan might have a better opportunity, but no. Belfie now with control, gets it past one. Oh, and a follow-up again from Jake, almost comes through, but no. Sullivan able to control out of the corner, and for the moment the Harriers, they're doing their best to try and bring this back, but 60 seconds if they've got 2 goals to score. And again, the Centurions with a fantastic defensive setup. Follow-ups coming in over towards that blue half. Great punish again from Sullivan. And the Centurions 3-0 now, making mincemeat out of the Harriers.
Great bump onto Taggers, and Jake, I'm going to say right now, what were you thinking, lads? That's how you set up for a goal, not how you save. Putting it right above the box, no.
Hey, look, you know what? Credit to the Centurions for recognizing that, just like, oh, he's passing to us. It's easy as that for us.
Yeah, they're going to get him a box of chocolates and flowers or something like that as a thank you for that, and that was more luck. I'll give that one. That was a great shot downfield, but Jake, the little whiff, and Taggers weren't expecting it.
Second time Jake's cost them goals here, and I think this game might be a write-off for the Harriers. 2-2 looks to be our series score, and 4-0 will be the score for game 4. Bounce up again for Sullivan and co. Will try and contest inside that box. Once again, 30 seconds remaining. Tag Matter will try and take control. Rewind just continues to try and take pressure. Oh, right inside that box. This is nice and open for him. Tag Matter still getting back in time. And I have to say, I'm impressed with how quickly he's able to adjust to some of these defensives. Unfortunately, with the pacing that Centurions have had, it's just not quite come through quick enough all the time. But regardless, 10 seconds on the board, and there's not much that his defensive can do in game 4. It will be the Centurions taking us back to evens in this series. And the Harriers, well, it's a bit of a shame at the moment, but they are starting to fall apart, Bacon. It's concerning, to say the least.
It is, definitely, and you'll notice one factor, and that is Taggers not getting upfield enough. And that comes down to rotations being oh so wonky from the Harriers right now. They've got to fix that. They've got to have confidence in each other, because they are making those whiffs, so the confidence is breaking down. Because then expecting each other to just fail, they're not sure they're going to get it. If they're whiffs, you've got to make sure that you have every base covered and it's a problem at the moment. Harriers, they've got to pick that up. Going into the next game, they've got to get the win. Otherwise, this is all going to tumble in favour of the Centurions, which on paper is a remarkable upset, I think.
I would say so too, actually. You know, again, we've seen the potential in the Centurions, but the truth of the matter is that the Harriers have had so much, not only national sort of success, but also a decent, modest level of international sort of performance as well. They've competed in some of the, smaller, international sort of European tournaments. So, and again, as you mentioned, Tag Matter was able to go to America essentially because of Rocket League. So. We've seen a lot out of these players that obviously for the Harriers means that they would be the favourite side in typical matches like this. Again, the situation right now is where is all that talent sort of gone right now to try and pick up the pace?
It is just down to the mental aspect of the game because those whiffs have started coming out. It's a whole tumbling effect, and you'll notice it's largely coming down from Jake not wanting to give over those opportunities. He's starting to double commit on into it, and it's just a whole tumbling effect from every member of the team. For me, Tagger seems to be a bit too reserved in defense because he's thinking he's got to cover the whole defense, even though he's a great player upfield. And then, yeah, Belfi just probably overextend a little bit, wanting to get that ball a bit too fast for the team downfield.
Sullivan and Rewind, both players going up for the challenges here inside that blue half. Again, Taylor's a bit of a second touch there, an awkward second touch if I must say so myself. Ball in and over towards that corner. Sullivan beaten out, challenged again by Jake and co. Taylor's just going to keep this one as far in the blue half or the white half, as possible. Tag Matters continues to shoot up here for the Kingston Harriers. It's Sullivan over to Taylor's. Great pass and receive, but Sullivan can't follow it through. Taylor's might just be able to do so, though. Bounce out over to Rewind. The bump plays come through. Well, not quite a bump play officially, but that was the general purpose, and regardless, the outcome is the same. First score by the Centurions.
Yeah, Taylor's just making taggers have to move out of his way, and that's what matters. He's covering that aspect, and Centurions start off game number 5 so hot. They looked good in game 4, Jay, but game 5 they're picking up once again. If they can get another goal here within the next 30 seconds, I might even be, somewhat persuaded to call this game here and now.
Potential is certainly there as Rewind does go up and tries to leave it for passive control. No second player to follow it through. They're both rotating back for boost or maintaining the
That's a massive overextension.
Sullivan, here we go for the second touch. Tag Matter just takes it away, but you can see how awkwardly he had to contort his car just to get it out of the position because Centurions, as you say, leaving a big old gap in the fence. And Harriers trying to exploit one of their own right here in the midfield. Tag Matter going to get challenged by Rewind. That's big. That's crucial. No one's in the net. Another opener for the Centurions.
I'm going to be a man of my word, Jay. I reckon Centurions have got game 5 down pat.
Wow, really? Already?
There is just so much panic. You saw the double commit, overextension come out from the Harriers in the midfield, and then great little plays like that from the Centurions. Using the wall to pass up for themselves to get the redirect. That was such a good goal.
And the Harriers might have to take the next 60-second pause to
get the house in order.
Yeah, iron out all that panic essentially, to try and find a way to try and stop this whole thing from crumbling to pieces because it's still coming down as the Harriers have the midfield. It's Tag Matter bounce out, looking for a second player. No one's there to receive it, and Rewind can get in for the challenge here.
Big problem now for Harriers as well here, Jay, is that you notice when they hit the ball, it's overextending. So they're trying to chase up onto it and beat out their opponents. But where they've hit so far downfield, it's just getting picked up by the Centurions.
Oh, great challenge from Jake again coming in against Sullivan, but he's going to miss out the second touch. And again, Sullivan, that 50-50 might have opened up another chance for the Harriers. For now, however, in the long term, it's the breakaway. Rewind almost looking for a second touch inside that box, but it's not going to happen. The breakaway, the counter attack, the clears coming through from the Harriers, still looking confident. 2 players missing on that ball touch, and Jake will try and take it high off the backboard. Belty with a shot onto the target itself, but Rewind there for the defensive. Taylor's there for the clear. Jake can respond, and Belty can follow through again. Going to ping-pong this ball back and forth between both the Harriers and Centurions halves. The midfield is where it lays at the moment as the 2-minute marker ticks by. Sullivan still in. Tagmata there alongside Taylor's punish available, but a little bit late to jumping up on that one. Rewind can follow through and keep the control out, trying to get a second touch in. This is open for Taylor to try dunk down. He'll take it wide to the left. Joe for a second touch, but Sullivan demoed out, so his backup can't go for the shot into this one. And again, the Harriers just working to try to get this into the white half. They're still down by 2-0, and they've got 1:30 to make up the difference.
Bold move here as well. This is a big push downfield. You can see Taggers in the back line having to rush back. Does get the touch. It will slow down things. There's still a bit of a scramble going on. But once again, like I said, Harriers just throwing this ball away. Lucky on the bounce there because that was easily picked up. Belfry too high.
That's tragic. Perfect opportunity as well because there was no one else in the defensive and no one in that position in particular. If they shot like a couple inches lower, then that would have been the goal in, but this is going to be a goal in of their own right. Much better sequence from Harriers to clear, counter-attack and score. It's Tagmata to score the first.
Yeah, defense a little bit wibbly-wobbly from the Centurions. No one really connecting with it. No one making a solid attempt to go for a save. Harriers being gifted that one, I'd say. Centurions, they've relaxed a little bit too much with all this sort of like sheer dominance they've had in the last 2 games.
Rewind back inside that box. It's Jake over to the corner. Bounce up again. Taylors can take the shot over towards the challenge.
That is so disgustingly beautiful. That read from Sullivan. Oh, go take a shower.
And go take a game 5. I think you may be right about your earlier call, Bacon. Harriers.
I'm always right, Jay. Come on, you should know this by now.
I have several examples that proves to the contrary, but I'm gonna you know, just leave you to bask in your glory for the moment because you're definitely right about this one. 30 seconds left, and the Harriers have struggled and struggled and struggled for the last 2 games. And the Centurions, with beautiful plays like that, are just going to be victorious. Ball up from Jake, that off again from Tagmata to the corner. Secondary miss there from Taylors, but I don't think it matters too much. Again, the challenge from Rewind should just keep this out of the way. Belthy will bump him out, but Tagmata has got to find the most amazing counter-attack ever, and it's just not going to happen. Not in the time frame. 2 goals down. Centurions will be taking this game and taking match points in the quarterfinals. And we talked about the upset, how incredible that would be. It looks like it might just become a reality here, Bacon.
It might just do indeed. For me right now, it is all coming down to that panic from Harriers. And we said that going into this game where they've just got to get the house in order. Hopefully they will use this break because they're a team that are panicky. Like I said, there's no trust in each other and they're getting scrambled up. It means that not only are the Centurions taking away that boost, but now the Harriers are taking away each other's boost because they're breaking those rotations, and it's just a whole crumbling effect. They did pull it back on in by getting up some good transitional plays, but that also felt like there was a part aspect of it where the Centurions were getting overconfident and just trying to keep up with pressure for pressure's sake, not actually looking for an effective way to get to net.
And this is causing some major problems as well. Like, the Harriers do need to find some way back in. It's game 6. Centurions to win this one, to move forward to the semis. And the Harriers, like you say, they need to get their stuff in check because this is just not looking like the Harriers that we know of. Sullivan and Taylor's already on the attack, using the crossbar as a rebound, and they'll just bounce it past the line to get the first in just 16 seconds.
A beautiful little bar down ski from Sullivan there, upside down as well, an aerial turtle. Who says turtles couldn't fly?
Isaac App said that, I believe.
It could be the lack of wings, but if you throw one, is that technically gliding?
I've just got this image of you like lobbing a turtle over the Belong studio now. This
That's so graceful.
Oh my word. Well, a nice opener for the Centurions again. Belthy alongside the rest of the Harriers will just not get any defensive together. I was going to say they will try and find a breakaway from that corner, but in the end they put it inside that box, allowing the counter-attack and pressure to come through from the Centurions and keeping control, keeping the going, as off the backboard Taylor will get it for a secondary touch. Tagmata will take it up, and Jake have no choice but to take it into the corner. Sullivan continues to try and punish these clears, these defensive. They're just not good enough from the Harriers at the moment, and the Centurions just making sure they can't break out of that blue half as a result. Finally, a counter will come through, but it's quickly dealt with and quickly returned by the Centurions.
And that's because they keep the ball down low. In those cases, you've got to put it high up into the rafters like this. Brilliant little clearance coming out. And it means you've got their
Oh!
A brilliant clearance and an unexpected chase up from Belfi. Just, yeah. There was no reason for him to be that deep in that amount of time, but he was a man on a mission.
Got the power on that shot as well from a difficult angle and everything. Like the rotation coming in from the centre to the corner, then back out to the centre. That's very, very difficult to hit. So, credit to Belfi. Well scored, Harriers. Getting a chance back in this one. But again, they're going to need to take the lead away from the Centurions. And they're starting to pick up the pace here as a result. Jake and Belfi, both players wrapping around, getting challenges in. Tagmata will go up. Shot over towards that corner. Second touch will not be allowed on the part of Sullivan as Belfi continues to challenge into the centre line. Jake's going to try and wrap back over and back way into the Rewind player. Tagmata going for the save against Rewind. Shot over from Taylor into Sullivan, taking it out to the corner. Taylor will try and continue here with 100 boost picked up at the midfield line. Going for a shot that was close, but no cigar. Jake to the corner once again. Tagmata's got to find some sort of clearance. To the mid-centre he'll go, but Jake that's going to miss out the touch in. So again, it's Sullivan with control. And every time Harriers get even a glimpse of a chance, it's just turned away by the Centurions at every single turn.
Big demo, because that should mean there's no one, up in the air to follow that from the Centurions. They don't clear it away though, and Belfi now want to keep this close to him. Does find a gap, but that's easily picked up by Rewind there, Jake.
Oh,
what a save as well!
Oh my god.
Was a sequence of events.
Imagine if that had gone in as well. That might have trumped our pick for goal of the week. And Harriers continuing the pressure now that they found a bit of a counter-attack, a bit of control, and a lack of boost on the part of the Centurions. A couple whiffs will allow them to have a moment's respite. But the Harriers going to continue that pressure as Belfi gets up over the Jake. Great opportunity, but the shot is going to be way too wide. Tagmata on the other side to receive it off the backboard, pushed out towards the box. Jake that there with a block off, and Sullivan and Taylor going to have to work a little bit harder to find this clear. Eventually they will find it with a dribble play, but it's not on target. Taylor's going to try look for a shot up here, perfectly placed. Jake can't get control, and Rewind's way too far wide, bouncing off that post instead. Now Belfi with a flick up. Taylor's a bit too far forward. Challenge onto Jake though, and he will just clear it out of contention.
Yeah, and you can see they've got to be careful now because Centurions are pretty low on boost. They don't have control of that midfield, but that was a bad team bump. Rewind with control should easily be able to dribble that to net.
That was lovely. That was just lovely from Rewind. Perfect control. Knew that Tigers was the only player in the back, and all he had to do was control it. The Centurions are 1 minute and 18 from winning out this game, and by extension this series. And you can see the desperation on the Harriers trying to get that kickoff to go towards their favour. They need a kickoff goal right now if they want to take off a lot of that pressure. And Belfi with a big miss at the midfield. Tagmata's got to try and respond to it. As Taylors and Rewind find a sideboard bounce into that corner once again. Take it away. Jake's still got that challenge in towards the centre line, but no one is there to punish on the part of the Centurions.
1 minute. One goal could decide things. We'll have to find on outs. The tension is so high. Rewind being given a great back pass there. Won't find net as Belfi does pop that away. But everything just feels a bit too awkward right now, Jay. You can feel this.
And the Harriers, you can feel the awkwardness, you can feel the struggle, most importantly, from the Harriers side. They're continuously trying to find something, but it's just a ball put a bit too far wide, or a ball put a bit too far. Positions outplay for the Harriers side, and once again, it's the Centurions with 18 seconds and pressure. Shot coming through towards the back backboard. Belfi and Jake now going to rely on Tag Matter here as he goes out towards the midfield. Belfi's got to find a big clear. Boomer down towards the backboard, but it's blocked off by Sullivan as it's way too slow. 5 seconds on the clock. They've got to find a shot in quick. 2 players committing. That's not good. Belfi trying to find a way to keep it alive, but he's out of boost and out of chances, and the Harriers are out of the playoffs. 4-2 to the Centurions, and we actually said this would be the scoreline to the favour of the Harriers instead.
I was going to say halfway there on the prediction, but who would have predicted that the Centurions would have taken it? Definitely not us, and I highly doubt many people at home, as like we said, there was the veterancy that the Harriers just had over them. On paper, this should have been Harriers every single day of the week, but when it comes down to match day, that's when it all matters, and here, Centurions were ready for the task.
Yeah, that is a bit of a shocker, I want to say here, Bacon. Like, I'm surprised to see how much they fell from grace, though. It's like, you know, there's a difference between getting beaten and then getting really beaten, you know, and I feel like that they're kind of the teeth of the edge of the more extreme side of getting beaten at this stage, because again, it felt like there was a lot of unconfidence coming through. It felt like there was a lot of things that they could have done much better. A lot of very fixable things as well in terms of confidence, sort of, you know, bad touches coming out, bad pressure, holes in the back line, over commitments as well. That was a particularly big problem that gave so many goals to the Centurion side, I feel, you know. Yeah,
but at the same time, both teams were doing great stuff. Like, when you look at the Harriers, their breakaways downfield were fantastic. And Centurions struggled a little bit with their breakaways, but where they had that continuous pressure, they didn't have to worry about it so much.
I mean, actually, I don't want to disagree with you, because I feel like some of their breakaways and challenge players on the Centurion side was actually quite confident, you know, especially when it came to like
interceptions and they had good midfield control, but from their back lines, it got quite spotty. It was just the difference of the Harriers not being able to put up that pressure and being able to hold on to it.
Well, we found one of our semi-finals teams. Let's go and find another. But first, we're going to go to a very short break, so don't go anywhere as we have one more best of 7 coming for you after this.
to your side. A push on my foolish pride. I'm out of my mind. I'm down from the endless high. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire. We fight with fire. Burn with your light. You plead with the tears that cry. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire.
Welcome back. We're ready to get into our second match of the day. Yes, of course, we have just seen a surprise elimination. The Harriers out at the quarterfinals. I don't think we expected that, honestly. Like, especially
No,
considering who
definitely
they're up
not.
against. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, the better team won. Like the Centurions being able to hold a lot of nerve. Harriers, of course, dropping it that. Going into next week's games, you're going to have all the nerves. We haven't actually been able to have a quick look at the results from the other game, but of course, both the York Vikings and the MK Enigmas are hard teams to go up against. And York Vikings, of course, we saw them at the HyperX Turbo Clash going on there, and they've had that bit of LAN experience. They've been able to go up against the top teams. So naturally, Colchester Centurions, they've got to have that nerve to be able to handle next week as well. So by all means, they're looking good to even maybe pull off the surprise run to the finals.
Well, we'll have to get an update of that result when it comes out later on during the night. We will have all the results from the quarterfinals ready for you before we head off the airwaves today. For now, though, we're going to get into our second matchup of the day between the Norfolk Nighthawks and the Cragar Von Kestrels. We'll take a look at the lineups right about now to see where we stand on this one. A couple of respectable sort of lineups that we've seen. I think the Cragar Von Kestrels, they kind of came out of the woodwork and we thought, okay, this is a weird lineup of names. Some of that we don't know how to say. And you can say the same thing about the Nighthawks. Sick to death is still my favourite of the entire season. This could be a little bit of a fun matchup, Bacon.
Yeah, definitely. So again, to round out the teams and who we expect to see today from the Nighthawks is Sick to Death, Zegamis and Muro, I do believe. We might see Aaron Spinks, of course, sub in for Muro. On the Kestrel side, it should be Blue Flare, Eclipse and Zadoff. Alpha, generally you don't see him as much in the server, but who knows, like we said, due to commitment issues, that sub is so important in the Arena Clash because, of course, it's Tuesday night, it's a work night, it's a school night. Sometimes you have things get in the way.
If I recall correctly, was it the Kestrels, the team that kept swapping out their two third players? Or was
No.
I don't know. I feel like Alpha seems like a player that sort of like had that sort of.
He's
thing
had a
going
week in
on.
the squad, yes.
Yeah, no, a couple opportunities, here and there for the Kestrel side, and we'll see whether or not they actually make the magic happen here. If I recall correctly, last season they did not make it to the playoffs.
No.
So this is a chance of redemption for the Kestrels and the Cragar Von team. So we're about to get into the matchup in a couple of moments' time. I just want to ask for your quick predictions. Where do we see this one going? We just saw a bit of a weird upset. Do you think we can see another one, or is it going to be all on track?
I think it's going to be another 4-2, but this time in favour to the Kestrels. I have liked what the Kestrels have done all season long, and I am going to back them in this one.
I can see that, honestly. Do you know
What is your prediction, the Eternal J?
I'm gonna lean to the Kestrels as well. Like, I feel like they showed a lot of potential in that one, in that lineup. I don't know why. I felt like the whole K thing would just work pretty well. We're underwater indeed as we kick things up between the Nighthawks and the Kestrels here.
Colours.
Indeed they are, actually. I kind of appreciate this as the Fragavon side do get out towards the box. Here we go. Zegamis off the backboard, playing in towards his teammate. Off the backboard for a second time off that crossbar, but in the end, it looks like Kestrels will just hold down the backline as they break away, go for the shots for the backboard. Second touch is going to get blocked off by the Nighthawks side, though, as the defensive just is able to hold.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming out from the Kestrels early on. That's going to be a handover in the great clear downfield. Can they follow up into it? Sick to death. Unfortunately, not going to be able to really get an efficient touch.
Passing, great stuff coming through towards that box position. Zegamis does have the backboard in play here. Zorti leaves it for Zegamis now. Bounce out from that corner. He's still got contention here in order to leave it up for his teammates instead. It will be challenged by the Kestrels side again coming forward off this one. Zegamis going up and over, continuing to press forward, and Sick to Death will still maintain midfield presence. His two teammates will get forced to back off as Fragavon do break away. Chance to dunk down, even leaving his Zegamis will be able to get that block off from the Nighthawks side here, Bacon.
Yeah, in Eclipse, you see him just knocking that on over to the center. He's got to be careful. Zadoff does get that high of net, and Sick to Death with a decent clear. Again, he's got to be careful knocking that straight into opponents, but enough power on it does make it difficult. And put it off to the side. You're seeing just a lot of head-to-head clashing at the moment.
Zadoff in the back line here, going to try and wait for his teammates to rotate up. Challenged by Zorti, though, coming forward on towards that box. The clear will eventually be found as now he gets passed up towards here on the breakaway. Kestrels only going so far as this midfield line. Demos will come in towards the back line as they try and maintain some sort of shot accuracy, but the control is not there from them, so the end result is not going to be anything for the Kestrel side. Vice versa could also be said for the Nighthawks, though. Both teams completely scoreless.
No!
But Eclipse almost found his way in to change that. Unfortunately, a little bit out of position. The block will come through from the Kestrels side. They are able to be returned on the part of the Nighthawks as they maintain the corner control.
Remarkable moment. Both of these two teams not being able to find a goal just yet. They are searching for it, mind you. You can see they're getting close to the mark. But realistically, they're trying to play it safe. You see these big hits downfield. A lot of retreating into your own half, allowing the ball to breathe a little bit and make sure that you've got a full tank of boost, because once there is that opening, they will jump at it.
Clip's going to try and round out here towards that corner. Once again, Zadoff challenged over towards the midfield line. And
big open
pop-up, that's massive! That is beautiful from Sick to Death to fake it out, back pass to his teammate and just say, here you go, it's an open line for you. First being scored by the Nighthawks.
Yeah, you got to think when you're a defender looking down Sick to Death there, first of all, you should not trust him. What man dresses his car like that, first and foremost? But second, when you can see the second player following up behind, you can sort of see what they're trying to do. So a little fake, a little pop like that, it's got to be obvious in those cases. Just try and go for the big block clear.
And the Kestrels going to try and find their way back out as blue flares. Oh, might not even be needed for this player. Good shot coming through from Zadoff. Still, he'll keep the control out into this corner now. Bounce out to the center line. Zadoff comes in once again to try and bounce out second player towards the backboard. Zorti will take it away from further shooting control, but he's still got a decent amount of dribbling here. Only going so far as that post, though. Zorti able to push it out of the way. Still got challenges coming through. Goes over the left-hand side, shot coming through from the likes of Eclipse, but it's not going to happen for him. Ball will get pinched away here by Zegamis, going high rather than far, so no Cooks here shots coming out from the Nighthawks at the moment.
Ooh, a little bit of choppiness, that's absolutely fine. Zara not on the game end. Naturally, these players not being able to deal with this right now. But it's interesting. Look at that, the throw towards net. They've got to be careful.
Zorti over from the backboard. Pushed out again by the Kestrels on the defense. Sick to Death going to leave it over. Zegamis goes off the backboard one more time. Pass back in towards his teammate, challenging for midfield control. Zorti will take this over to the side. Second opportunity for Sick to Death as his teammate's out of boost. He's got just about enough to go for a shot, but it's taken away by the likes of Zadoff. Now here control. 2 players committing. This could be disastrous, and Sick to Death can't get back far enough. Kestrels will be back in at evens against the Nighthawks here, Bacon, after such a great sort of time holding out for control. In the end, it all comes to a head at evens.
Yeah, and you got to think that goal comes down to the Nighthawks overextending and not following through to rotations. They gifted it on over. Kestrels, of course, taking that, but with 30 seconds left is anyone's game right now.
Here we go, Eclipse going to leave it for Zadoff. Tee up here for Zorti, Sick to Death, going to leave it for Zegamis in the end as he tries to find the breakaway off that sideboard. Dribble up, going to pass out towards Sick to Death. Great control inside that box, but it will be pushed away by it. Blue. Indoff, oh, big miss, what? Blue Flare gifted a goal from a big mistake from the Nighthawks backline. 2-1 on the board for the Kestrels.
You got to think, when Blue Flare cleared that ball downfield, there was no way he was expecting him to get a goal off that. He probably just respawned back in the server, grabbed the corner boost, and then goal? What? When did he score that? 13 seconds left. There is the opportunity for a kickoff goal for Nighthawks here, but they have got to put so much pressure down, Jay.
5 seconds remaining. Zegamis bouncing up and over. Challenge down on towards the floor. It's hair too late at this stage. And in the end, the Nighthawks will lose control. The Kestrels. Super last second goal coming through right there. It felt like it was down to the wire up to that point.
Two super last second goals.
That's the thing, right? It's like Nighthawks held on to that 1-goal lead for so long, and that backline defensive completely crumbled at the last hurdle, Bacon. That was the main issue, I think, for the Nighthawks. Because again, as you say, that clear should not have been scored. I don't think Blue Flare was even expecting that to be cleared, you know? Or to be say, to
yeah,
go
he
in,
thought it was just clearing it downfield. Either a teammate would follow up onto it, or it's just going to get hit right on back by one of the Nighthawks. So their Kestrels, I'm going to say, gifted the first game just by a little bit of a mistake. Realistically, we should be seeing an overtime and still commentating right now, but that's just not how the way things, fell down today. It's only one game, though, Jay. Out of a first of 4 or best of 7, however you want to say it, these two teams still have a lot more fighting left in them.
And especially because, that's the kind of thing that it's like that whole game came down to one single mistake. Like, if that one play had gone well for the Nighthawks, then it's just a case, then they'd still be playing. As you mentioned, we would be playing in overtime. So for them mentally, it's a case of, we messed up. But at the end of the day, it was one mistake, just, bit of an awkward position, maybe a bit of lack of boost.
You feel silly and stupid, but it's not demoralising.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those kind of things, it's like, okay, fine, it happens. It's the kind of thing that happens sometimes. Maybe you were out of boost, maybe you just reacted a little bit later than when you really should have. So it's like, okay, it's fine. We'll just mentally reset. It's cool. We can go into game number 2, and we can try focus fire on trying to sort of bring it back from there. For now, though, that's game 1, as you mentioned, just a single game. 1-0 for the Kestrels as the Norfolk Nighthawks try and come back in game 2.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, it's still very much 50-50 between these two teams, not only because of what you saw in game 1, essentially. But here, going forward, you know that both teams are still trying to learn each other on out and pretty much learn themselves as well. These are arguably, for me anyway, Jade, probably consistency-wise, the two weakest teams that made it to top 8. Their highs are high, but their lows, you can see they do get a bit panicky and nervy. And that goes to both sides, where they've got to be careful with that defense, but they can pour some great stuff in attack.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things where it's like, okay, well, there's potential. There's a lot of potential there, I think. So let's see how much that potential will get fulfilled right now as we get into game number 2 at long last. Kestrels, in case you're just joining us, they're up by 1 and Zadoff. Oh, look at this play off the backboard, big miss, and unfortunately, I think that's a bit too far wide. Okay, we're okay. It's all right. Crash is averted. Panic over.
Still the chase up for opportunities like this. Big response coming out there from Kragvon 4. I didn't quite get to see who that was, unfortunately, due to... We're looking at their name tags for their names, and that doesn't show up above the car, so it's unfortunate.
I believe there was Eclipse in number 6. Yeah.
Zadoff
in 4. I think it was Blue Flares in 5. Yeah, Blue Flares in 5. And Eclipse in number 6. So there you go. Now you know who the Kestrels are. We figured out the numbers, Mason. It's all good. You're DEFCON 5 once again.
There you go. You don't need to get Black Ops anymore. You've got the answers right here. As if anyone's buying Black Ops these days, you know.
Wouldn't that be great if Mason just turned to Hunter and was like,
"Oh, damn, Hunter! You see that goal? Brilliant one from Zadov there, off the ceiling, and just intercepts the ball. No one in defense expecting that. It was a big, big opportunity. If that didn't go right, it could have cost Kestrels so dearly, but they got the goal, and they're going to be coming out grinning.
Sick to death will try to turn the situation around, though. A demo in from his teammate might open up a bit of a chance here, but open towards the net. A very open position on the net. And it could have been a nice strike back in, but it went too far wide. Northern Nighthawks going to commit to that right-hand side of the net in the end. You break away from the Kestrels at the moment. Zorti trying to deny at the mid-centre. Follow up from Sick to Death over towards Zorti's position. Is going to be put a bit high. Waterfall in front of the net, but given enough room to breathe for the Kestrels side. Blue Flash trying to find a way to work in here. Pass back. Good shot towards the target, but Eclipse is able to take it away. Zegamis will now leave it. Now trials Sick to Death to come forward with no boost of his own right. He really needs a bit more backup at this stage for the Nighthawks team. They are pressured without anything to work with right now in this orange half. They'll commit there on the defense. Might have left the gap open, but in the end, Nighthawks unable to punish.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting. That is such clutch defense from Sick to Death there. Lad's got to give himself a pat on the back. Good breakaway coming out as well. That touch really dismantles stuff as well.
Barely a defensive you can count it as, and there's no defensive this time for the Nighthawks side as it's Blue Flares to get another on the board for the Kestrels. 2-0 in game 2.
Yeah, Blue Flare might have not expected the goal in game 1, but he was definitely expecting that. Saw the open net downfield and just had to hit and hit true. Does it reaches net 2-0. Nearly at the halfway mark, but that's a big hit wide of net. And Zadov being able to clear that away brilliantly.
Nighthawks trying to bring this one back. They're picking up that pace once again. The Kestrels, however, able to return so efficiently here. Nice block off from Zorti, but he's got no more backup, and that's an open net. The bump in against him, and the third scored by the Kestrels. And off this time with one on the board of his own right. At halftime as well, the Kestrels are playing so much better in the Nighthawks half.
Yeah, but you look at Nighthawks there. No one covering net. They need to rotate a bit more efficiently and make sure there's always a man between ball and net there. They were desperate for boost and thought they could overextend and get out. No, you've got to be talking, lads. You can't be doing that. This is risky in front of net as well now. Sick to Death with a little bit of whiff, but no one following up from Kestrels.
Lucky. Oh, that might not be so much so for the Kestrels, though. Bit of a punishment there. I was going to say that if they had gone for that attack, that might have left Northern Nighthawks in a bit more of a pressure situation, but in the end, it was a bit more than just a pressure situation. A breakaway counter-attack, boom, down from the midfield to the back line, and no one from the Kestrels there for the save.
Yeah, and that going away is lucky as well. You don't go in for that pinch there, expecting it to come out goal. You're just trying to keep the pressure and push it downfield. But it just shows, once again, you've got to be careful. Always have a man between ball and net, because those pinches do come out a little bit more often than you would like.
Zegamis again going to get challenged by the Kestrels midfield line. Zadov's going to leave it for Eclipse here. Good challenge, actually puts it towards his position, but he's caught in rotation, so no chance for Kestrels to strike back. That ball's pretty dangerous though from the Nighthawks, and again they're trying to put this ball in very dangerous positions. The Kestrels might not be able to handle it, but again, their counter-attacking force is just so damn good.
It all came down to this brilliant little run-through there. And the follow-up coming out from Zadov, really, just the snappiness, how quick they are at being able to turn the ball around and get into the attack. Kestrels, that is their strong suit. Yes, we've seen their defense be a little bit shaky here and there, but where they're controlling the boost on the pitch so well and making sure to just outpace their opponents, Kestrels have got the upper hand.
And they're continuing to hold that upper hand above the Nighthawks, not allowing any opportunities for them. Even though they're trying to force the issue over in that orange half, it's just not working out for them. Zegamis gets it over to Zorti, bounce out, big miss from Blue, follow up. will just about be found with the dribble plays, actually. They actually managed to beat the only player from the Nighthawks that came forward to try and strike. There's 60 seconds left. A good pin to try throw it out of discourse, but it doesn't gain much ground for the Nighthawks side, and that's what they need. 60 seconds on the clock. They've got 3 goals to make up, potentially more if the Kestrels have their way. His ball's up and open, boom, back over to the target. No one's there to save it, and it's a stolen goal by Blue Flare, because of course it is.
Just because, why not?
Yep.
Brilliant little ball downfield, of course. But sometimes you got to secure them. Why not? Make it 5-1, happy days. Potential to even make it more damning from the Kestrels, who look unstoppable at this point, Jay.
Love that faked kickoff there from the Kestrel side. It's just stall for time more than anything else. You know, you don't lose a whole lot if Norfolk get the kickoff goal, but if you're able to stall for time, then that's more valuable than anything else. You have so many to buffer yourself with that just keeping every little second ticking by with no chance for the Nighthawks side. We'll leave Kestrels up on 2-0 in this series as we approach the final countdown. There's not really much that the Nighthawks can do, but they're going to have to take some serious thinking between this game and the next to try and figure out where they want to go from here. The Kestrels dominant as anything here in game 2.
And I've just looked. Oh, this ain't so pretty, but that's sort of the strategy of just buying time that Kestrels were putting out at the start. Did you notice how shaky they looked when they were doing that? That is not a style that they're used to pulling out. So, for me, that means Nighthawks now, you gotta steal all that boost away, slow them down and make them awkward, because they will fall into that trap.
Yeah, I have to agree, to be honest. Like, you know, that might be one of the only ways that they have right now, is to try and just, you know, bait them in essentially rather than anything else, because that's kind of what I feel like the Centurions did against the Harriers earlier today, you know, when they sort of like were able to bait them into sort of like some very dangerous positions, and in the end just swung out and punished them quite a lot.
Yep.
So if you can find the punishments, and I feel like this is a team that actually could do some decent punishments, I could see an opportunity available for them in that respect. Problem is they've got to find those punishments first here, Bacon, and obviously it's not quite that easy when the pressure is coming through so efficiently from the Kestrels, and their shooting accuracy as well is looking pretty good.
Well, in that case, then you've got to create those punishments by slowing the ball down in your corners and then breaking away with a quick little pass and play, you know, pass between one who can then boot it downfield. And that is something that is a lot easier said than done, as we know. We're moving on into the next game, and of course, it is 2-0 in favour of the Kestrels. That's a little bit of an awkward lockup between both teams. No.
Oh.
I thought he'd be able to just swoop in and get that one.
If Eclipse got that, that would have been glorious! Well, Blues are going to get that one instead.
Still glorious.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good from the Kestrels again, starting things off on the right foot in 14 seconds.
And the thing that I'm most impressed by is that that last touch was actually needed. Most of the time you'd be damning that player for sticking on the back net board. Why are you there? It's very hard, like at this level as well, near impossible angle to try and get a goal from. But that the Kestrels still pull it out, incredible.
Play coming through from the Kestrel side.
Can
Oh,
he
that
get it?
dodge! That is a bit high, but it's followed up regardless by Blue Flare as the Kestrels score 2, quite literally 15 seconds apiece as well for this one, Bacon. And the Nighthawks just... Where do you go from here, man?
I know. I'm probably not as upset right now as Nighthawks, as that was looking to be such a great goal, and then it just turned into a fairly normal, decent one. But yeah, Nighthawks, they've got so much to fix. Look at this aggression, the block coming through. Only just kept out wide. Nighthawks have got to come up with a new plan. They're just going down on solo runs. That is not what you need to be doing right now.
Oh man, that was like the perfect chance as well. A quick counter attack from the Nighthawks. Both players missing to the right hand side of the net.
Defend though. That's why you don't go on those solo runs like that. Just not going to connect. And with the 2 players upfield, this has to be it. The demo attempt coming in on the last man, but still not good enough. Zadov is able to just keep that away.
He's going to carry it right back as well. Tee it past one defender into his teammate. Will get challenged by Sick to Death. Fortunate enough for the Nighthawks side. Zorti takes this one off the sideboard. Is it off? And Now Eclipse here for the breakaway. Good challenge again. Zorti could find a way in, but he misses that ball's touch. He could have put power behind it. We'll find a bit of working room here inside the corner, but again, the Kestrels with the defensive. Great counters will come through over to the purple net. The Zorti there with the save. Challenged again onto his position. Zegamis will go over to the corner bounce. As Kragavon continue the pressure. That down.
Please.
That's absolutely disastrous.
Big overcommitment.
Breakaway.
No one can run it.
Come through. The Kestrels will rotate back, and although they had all the Nighthawks potential, they just can't capitalize on it.
And you got to think, the Nighthawks had a player all the way down in the Kestrels net for some reason. This will finally, and I feel that sums it up, finally a goal coming through from the Nighthawks after so many missed opportunities.
Took them like 4 attempts or so to try and bait in the Kestrel side. 2 players to the left, 1 player left, flick up, easy shot coming through. But that should have been at least one more attempt earlier. Like, that clear should have been so easy. All 3 players committed to that offensive play on the Nighthawks side, and they still couldn't punish it. And the Kestrels again going to kick this off with pressure inside that corner. Zegamis will beat out 1, try and follow through. Zadov to the corner, looking for a second touch, will get beaten by Zorti now. They're not going to challenge on towards Blue Flares though. Will pass out towards that corner again. It's Zegamis with contention. Zorti here with the breakaway. A booming clear. This actually is on target, and the Kestrels slightly over-rotate this time. Finally, something going well for the Nighthawks.
And the equalizer. This could be the turning point. You got to think, the Kestrels still have to win 2 games. So that's still a bit to push. Nighthawks, it's got to be done now. You've got to try and keep this feel-good factor flowing. And you can see the Kestrels are struggling to keep things cemented. That's a lucky clearance shot coming through. Not intentional. And it all comes down to what Nighthawks decide to do with this ball. They're throwing it a bit downfield. They've got to get more efficient follow-ups.
Blue Flares. Now Zadov getting challenged into this corner. The Kestrels on the back line for the first time in a long time. Sick to death now up here for his teammate to try and pass towards him. Double commit there from Zegamis and Zorti. Could find the breakaway, but no one from the Kestrels is there to keep it going. So in the end, Blue Flare just left to try and beat out 2 of the defenders here. Zegamis up here, sick to death with a dunk down, and that's much better for the Nighthawks. 3-2 on the board. They're going to take a lead.
And the Nighthawks has committed to this. They were cutting rotations in front of each other to make sure they had 2 players able to receive this ball. They had really committed everything to that 1 goal. You can see Nighthawks now taking really massive risks.
Zadov here passing up to try and get the kickoff going well for the Kestrels. Got to try and find a bit of a counter-attack, something going well for their own part of things, because right now it's looking like the Nighthawks are taking more control. Not as confident in this game as they were in the last couple. The Def continues off the backboard. It is Zadov here with the clear, followed up by a teammate in the midfield. Chance to dunk down, taken away by Zegamis. Follow-up power comes through, and that's perfectly on target. Blue Flare, 3-3. Kestrels back into evens.
That's it. 1 minute left to go. There still feels like there's another goal in this game. But who is it going to go in favour of here, Jay? Nighthawks going to be able to finally reclaim that lead, or the Kestrels going to sink this now and move on to match point in a 3-0 fashion, which for me would be damning.
Sink to death, and Zorti here set up for the clear. Bounce out, perfectly placed, but the rotations from Blue comes in just about in time. Pass back from Zegamis over to Zorti. Sink to death now out fake it, and both players misses the result. Kestrels can set up the pressure with this, especially as they try and steal the 100 boost from the backline. Bumping Zorti out is Eclipse that is forced to rotate back out of position. Still trying to bump Sink to death out of the way, but that ball is in the orange half. Set up for the shot, and Zegamis beats the forward player of the Kestrels defensive. The Nighthawks going to regain their lead.
It's been a crazy and unstructured game 3, but that has suited the Norfolk Nighthawks so much. 26 seconds left, and they have just got to hold on for dear life to this game 3, to this lead, if they want the best hopes to make it on through to next week.
Over the backboard, 17 seconds left. Here comes Zorti, keeping it in the orange half. A big miss from Eclipse. He's got to rely on his teammate to come forward and get the clear out of the way in the end. Zadov's got to hold down the control in the back line instead. Zorti, no boost, but he can feed it up for a teammate, take it away from Kestrels' control. They keep the ball alive. Zorti with a bit of a miss. Chance available. Bumps coming through. Oh my god, the breakaway's flicked up. No! The crossbar! Oh, tragedy for the Kestrels. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Oh my god. You're disappointed.
Yeah.
You're so disappointed.
I wanted the overtime. That was
that would have been the most
brilliant.
That would have been the most amazing counter attack. Is the worst part about that. Like that looked like it was perfectly set up from all three of the Kestrels players, man.
And you just got to think in that case, like, why was one of the Kestrels not going in for those bumps on nets? They could just continuously dribble it down. But hindsight's 2020. It's what's gone down, and Kestrels already with a 2-game lead. They're allowed to, I would argue anyway, throw away that one, or at least get rid of a game, because they're still up. They've still got a game advantage. Going into game number 4, they're still the better looking team in my eyes. I think they just got way too overconfident in that game 3, and they've just got to restructure themselves.
Well, I mean, if that last play was any evidence to the contrary, well, actually, no, sorry, to the favour, I should say, then certainly, I was going to say contrary.
Maybe.
I was going to try and make a little bit of wordplay there, but it didn't really work.
You were
out.
trying to be smart.
I was trying to be,
that's
yeah,
not it.
I'm not a very smart man. Can you tell? The bottom line is still that is evidence to the point you're making. You know, with that whole dribble play, the bump play, the communication, the coordination, all showing that the Kestrels have the potential to win this series. And I do think you're right. You know, I feel they kind of got a little bit overconfident and overzealous going into game 3. So let's see if game 4 be a bit more of a confident affair. Well, already the kickoff will go towards that yellow half, and the ball will get set up here for Zegamis to try and go for the second touch. It is Zadov here. Tries to find his way out towards that corner, getting that 100 boost as well. Zegamis with a clear away. This is open space, but it's not on target. Sick to death with a miss, and Zegamis will put it slow towards it. And unfortunately, Zorti will not be allowed the attacking force. The Nighthawks back to old habits in the early part of game 4, and the Kestrels want to get their old habits in play as well. Nice flip reset, but no second receiver from the Kestrels forward man.
They've got to be looking for each other a little bit more, Kestrels. You saw that there, the first real attempt in a while. But the overextension of